Well, I've caught one mistake. No awkward intro. However, the splash screen says week 5. So I'll have to make an adjustment. I might just change that to say like NFL show, but no awkward intro other than the awkwardness of explaining why the splash screen said week 5. This is yelling and screaming. This is NFL week 7. Week 6 is not quite over yet. If you are watching this live or catching it late tonight, it is just into the third quarter for Bills Jets. We had some scheduling stuff this week, so we're hitting you on a Monday night. Sean, honestly, I don't hate like the halftime third quarter film slot. I think that could be fun.
I mean, hey, we just got to punch it into the game really quick. Take a couple of notes from it and leave a little cliffhanger for the next week. So I'm.
All right, I'm getting just a little bit of lag, a little bit of delay, but we will try to see where that ends up. We can jump into it. We had a pretty good week of games, week 6. Thursday night football, Broncos, Saints. I was surprised by the performances for both of these teams in week 6. The Saints obviously got kind of blown out by the Bucks. Usually you don't score almost 30 points when you get blown out, but they managed to do so. And Bo Nix and the Broncos, they were right there in that game against arguably a superior team for the Chargers. But there in the end, I'm intrigued by a short turnaround week in the dome. I don't think hurts the Broncos as much as it helps the Saints. This line is 1.5 Broncos. I don't know if that's because Carr is not playing or because Rattler is. I'm not sure exactly what to expect here, but this is a game I will probably watch Thursday night.
Yeah, I think they're pretty evenly matched teams right now. Definitely might give a little bit of nod just because Bo Nix has been playing the whole season. But I think that, Rattler's got the ability to kind of play as a game manager. I don't think he's going to be. I don't expect him to be slinging anything crazy downfield. Let Kamara, do what he needs to do and try to rely on some defense against a Broncos team that has a very stout defense. But I'm still not, the most convinced with their offensive ability. So we'll see which team is going to be the one that kind of leans on. I think the run game to be able to, the run game and some play action to kind of get the line moving and see what happens there.
I mean, name a Broncos skill player.
Javonte Williams.
Okay, who?
Yeah.
It's tough to win games when there's no one. There's no one playing in those roles. There's no one doing that. I mean, Bo Nix has been their leading rusher like 2 of the last 3 games.
Yeah,
that's not sustainable.
He's not Lamar Jackson.
Could do that.
He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Michael Vick. He's Bo Nix.
So we'll see. This is a huge game. This was a Saints team that came out strong and scored a shit ton of points. And this is a Broncos team that no one really expected anything from. A win here either way kind of gives you the direction you need. A loss here is kind of it. I know it's week 7. It's a little bit of hyperbole, but I mean, we're getting to that point in the season where you kind of are what you put on the field, and there's no up or down room from that anymore.
Well, the Saints, after getting torched, they need to have a comeback game here. So I think that in the dome against the Broncos team, that again is kind of that mid-tier team. When their defense shows up, they have the ability to get the win. But so we'll see how it goes.
We're going to try to move quickly through games. Is there anything really quickly you want to say on Pass or Jags or the Bears? Bears on bye week this week. Is there anything you wanted to touch on there?
Jags are terrible. They're tanking. Let's just move on past this season and really see what's going on there. Doug Peterson his play calls aren't good. I don't know what's going on in the organization, but it's not their season. And I mean, the Patriots, no one's going to expect anything from him. So let Drake May play, and let's let the kid get some experience and see how it goes. I personally, it's just Jacoby Brissett is so like useless that it's like no point in even holding Drake May back. Let him be bad for the rest of the season. So it's just going to be toilet bowl. I mean, the team who actually rushes the ball better. The Jags are tanking with Tank Bigsby. That's their new tank now. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up eating some crow on the Bears, but we could talk about it next week when the Bears are actually playing. Seahawks Falcons. I'm excited for this one. This is probably my game of the week. These two teams can score in buckets. They very similar front seven on defense. I'm excited to see these teams match up. I think the Falcons are probably the better team here. 2.5 at home is the line right now. But this is one that I'm kind of excited for, especially an early game for the Seahawks coming across the country. This will be one I'm watching on Sunday.
I feel the same way. Definitely of the morning games, this is the one that really is going to be the most enjoyable to watch. And the thing that I'm seeing here is that I've seen a bit more from the Seahawks running game. And DK has been missing the past week. And I'm seeing nothing really from Bijan. So I'd like to figure out, which one of those two is going to come alive this week. Are we going to get more Bijan? Is it going to be a heavy pass game, or are the Falcons going to get up or get down? Like, how are they going to run that? How are they going to make the adjustment in the game?
Yeah, not a bad secondary for the Seahawks. This one could be tight. I don't have the total handy, but I'd be looking at the over here. We know that both these teams can throw for a shit ton of yards. That's what I'd be looking for. But yeah, definitely excited for that one. Titans Bill. Sorry,
so I got it's Falcons -3 with the 50.5 is the line. So I definitely take that. I see. Yeah, these teams are definitely can put up over 25 points each.
Yeah, 37-28.
And shout out to Seahawks special teams defense. That they've been doing for really, really well. Some of those guys out there in fantasy who pick up those defenses, make sure this is one that you got, because they do a good job on special teams and on defense.
Yeah, I don't think I want them for this week against the Falcons, but
oh, true. Well, you say that, but block kicks, punt returns, those matter. And I know you're playing against a high-powered defense, but if you got to pick somebody up, I mean, there's a few really sad defenses on the board already. I'd rather take a shot with somebody who might give me some special teams points.
That's fair. Titans Bills are playing right now. It is 20-17 over the Jets. About 10 minutes left in the third quarter. This game doesn't really interest me unless something weird happens here at the end of the Bills game. This is kind of a pass for me.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, the Bills are just a much superior team. It should be a cakewalk for them this week. And just, I mean, obviously you got to pay every week, but I don't see this being a game where they're challenging. They're going to be challenged too heavily. I think they're just going to run their game, and I don't expect to see any surprises here.
I just need more consistency. No more peaks and valleys out of the Bills. They have games where they shut everybody down and score a bajillion points, and then they play like absolute shit. And like that's not playoff football, right? And then that's really what we're talking about with the Bills. I get their 17 games. I get you have to play any given Sunday, all that crap, right? But like when we're talking about the Bills, we're talking about the playoffs. And you can't have one of those down weeks in the playoffs, because all that matters for this team is Super Bowl.
Well, I never really understood this, but like for some reason, Josh Allen has not had can't put 2 good weeks in a row. It's like 1 week he's throwing for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns, and the next week, he's got a fumble, or he's got 2 interceptions. Like, and we need to drives and you have some more consistency. You're absolutely correct on that.
Bengals Browns Battle of Ohio. Bengals are 5-point road favorites. These teams are bad, I think. I think we knew the Browns were bad, but the Bengals, man, you can't not score points. The Giants defense, I think, is way better than people are giving it credit for. It's way better than we expected it to be this year. You can't score 17 points against the Giants if you're real. Again, it's same as the Bills, right? The conversation for the Bengals is playoffs. You can't score 17 points against the Giants in week 6 and consider yourself a playoff team. I think the Bengals win this game. I wouldn't touch this with any of my own money at -5. I mean, the Browns suck, but like the Bengals aren't world beaters. They could lose this game in Cleveland.
I agree with you that they could lose this game, but I do see the Bengals winning. And what I saw here that actually was more impressive to me, and even though you made the comment about scoring 17 points against a bad Giants team, what I want to put more emphasis on is that they only gave up 7 points to a not good Giant offense. And so the biggest issue for the Bengals has not been their ability to score. Every game they're not going to score 30 points. But every game before this, they scored 30 points. And if you don't give up 30 points, guess what? You win games. So I think this was a bigger testament to something maybe clicking in the Bengals defensive side. And if you're going to have 2 games back-to-back and you're going to have a Giants team, you hold them to 7, and you can make another statement against the Browns team and really get your season turned around, I think that's where the Bengals kind of are right now. Scoring 17 points against a Giants defense that you just made a point of that's better than people are giving them credit for. I mean, the Giants aren't giving up a ton of points; they're just not scoring enough points to win. You know, against the Cowboys, 20-15 game. Like, you know, it's not like they're giving up 35 points a game or anything crazy like that. They're just not a potent enough offense to really put together a winning season, in my opinion. But the Bengals holding them to 7 is more of a testament to what the Bengals should be doing, and that high-powered offense. Every now and then you're going to have a week where you get 17 points, but they can go back to scoring 35 points a game, no problem. So I think that is really what the takeaway from here. So I got Bengals in this game. I take the Bengals in the money line on it.
Yeah, I think they win the game. I can't lay 5, and I don't want to watch this game. This is one like Red Zone might show it like 6 times because it's either no scoring or one team goes up 3 scores and it's just not on Red Zone anymore. You know, we're just not looking at it for the rest of the day because it's irrelevant at that point. But yeah, I don't want a whole lot to do with it.
Of the afternoon slot, I mean, if I'm going to look at a game that's probably going to have the most scoring, in my opinion, this might be it. The Browns can have the ability to put up some points.
This is 10 a.m. game.
Oh, this is early? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we're in Arizona. We're in Arizona. 12 o'clock God's time. 12 o'clock God's time. Texans, Packers. My biggest note here is the Packers are wearing the, quote, Swiss cheese uniforms. These are the all whites. We just had a score in the game. 20-20.
2020.
Bills, 6 minutes left. Swiss cheese uniforms. This is the all white Packers uniforms. I don't think the Texans can beat an all white Packers team at home in Wisconsin. I'm gonna put that energy out into the world. This is Packers 2.5. The Texans have looked good and bad at different times this year for very different reasons. I still am not convinced that this Packers team is what everyone hoped it would be, but I think all the components are there. And I think against the Texans team that's kind of had a bad time proving themselves to be consistent on both sides of the ball, game in and game out, I think there's an opportunity here for a Packers team to have, 3 passing touchdowns to tight ends, and Josh Jacobs has like 125 yards rushing, and the Packers win this game. That's just kind of the game flow I can envision happening. Obviously, that all goes to shit if the Texans win the toss and score right off the bat.
Which they can do.
All that to say, I don't hate the Packers in this game, and I think it's on the Texans to kind of prove that they belong in this higher echelon of NFL teams that the Packers seem to reside in year in and year out.
I mean, Texans are 5-1 right now. They look pretty decent to me. They've had some drives that didn't look clean. CJ definitely doesn't look exactly how, he doesn't look like he's stepped it up from last year. But I will say that they're 5-1, and they're finding ways to win games. Their only loss is to Minnesota, who, everybody right now is still, shaking their head trying to figure out what's going on up there. Coach of the year, early nod going to Kevin O'Connell up there. But I mean, realistically, like, is this right here? You are correct. This is one of those instances where you figure out if a team is really ready to step it up to be a playoff caliber team, a consistent team, and be able to make that next leap. And I think the Texans can do it. I think they have the weapons to do it. I think that Edwards being suspended is definitely not going to help them. And Nico Collins being out is definitely not going to help them. But I think that they still have a strong enough receiver core to be able to do it. For me, I get more inconsistency from Jordan Love than I get from CJ Stroud personally. I just looking at his two of their wins aren't Jordan Love, so Jordan Love is 2-2. He looked a little cleaner. Excuse me, he looked a little cleaner, throwing a little bit back off throwing a little bit less off his back foot this week. But I still want to see him really stepping into those throws and eating up that pocket. So he's got no receivers. I mean, he's got to throw the ball to somebody. Someone's got to catch it. But I think that if the Packers can lean on Josh Jacobs and let him kind of set that tone on the ground to then make them play true, then he can go ahead and get some good passes downfield and the tight ends. You're right. The tight ends really are going to make the difference in this game.
I mean, they beat the Cardinals' ass, but they didn't establish a run game. They just threw over the top of a really, really weak Cardinals secondary.
Yeah.
The Texans secondary is slightly better than that. But this is going to be an interesting one. This is going to be the kind of game that you're going to learn a lot, I think, very quickly. And this is going to kind of ring for the rest of the season because the Packers can't afford to lose this game. If the Packers lose this game, they're going to fall behind in the division race. And the division's good. The North is good. We'll talk about it coming up here with Lions and Vikings. But the Packers can't afford to lose a game like this. This is a team that, by all accounts, they should be better than from a developmental standpoint. So this one I'll be watching really carefully because I think there's a real chance the Texans steal this game, and I think it'll feel like theft.
I think the Texans are a better developmental team. I think that their guys have shown much more consistency over the past 2 years than Green Bay. So I would take the Texans in this game, but I'm taking them at a 2 point -2 or something like that.
Yeah, it's 2.5 Packers.
2.5, yeah. I'm taking the Texans in this. Texans plus 2.5.
The Dolphins are playing the Colts. That is a factual statement. Moving on, the Lions and Vikings.
I'm gonna give a quick statement, quick thing. I want to give them their just desserts. All right. No one needs to pick up any fantasy players from either of these teams unless their name is Joe Flacco or Pierce, because that's about it. Nobody else ain't doing shit.
And Pierce probably didn't do anything either.
Nope. But I feel like that's the only guy Joe Flacco feels like he's going to throw to. So
yeah, I don't think he did anything yesterday.
Well, people figured it out.
No catches, 0 catches.
There you go.
For Alec Burks yesterday. Yikes! All right, Lions Vikings.
This is my game of the
for
week.
me, Sean. The winner of this game wins the division.
The winner of for me, the winner of this game is the best team in the NFC.
I think that's also fair. Can we take 1 second?
Yes, sir.
I just laugh at the Cowboys. What in the holiest of hell? How can you be a Cowboys fan and take yourself seriously? This team is so bad at football.
They have no run game. They have a few passes that look really like nice highlights. All I'm getting right now from Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb is Dak Prescott with a shorter Des Bryant. I'm getting the whininess. I'm getting the inconsistent play. I'm getting. This is not the guy that performed last year. That was the reason why he wanted a big contract. This is not what I'm getting from him right now. So, yeah, y'all Cowboys, y'all should be scared. Y'all, this ain't gonna be another good season for y'all. Um, I'm I'm just dying. It's truly funny to watch. It's
So
just
football's a team sport, and it's a contact sport. But if you line me up Hendon Hooker, Dak Prescott, and Cooper Rush, quarterback competition, skills competition, is Dak Prescott the number 3 quarterback passing?
come on, Rick.
Come on, what part?
No,
Dak Prescott's inaccurate. He has horrible decision making. I'm picturing at the Pro Bowl where they have all the moving targets. He just gets overwhelmed. There's too many targets. Dak Prescott's not an NFL quarterback. He never has been. The Cowboys have been stacked with talent for the last decade and haven't done shit with it. Dak Prescott is the poor man's Tony Romo.
Ooh.
Dak Prescott's the worst starting quarterback in the division.
I agree with that.
That's it.
I agree with that.
Dude's
I agree with that, which
paid,
is crazy. I agree with that.
Paid like crazy.
So inconsistent, these guys. I mean, I think Dak Prescott is going to be a great Dancing with the Stars player. You see those hips? That hip move, he's already there. He's already there.
Dak, just for me, doesn't pass the sniff test. He never has. He doesn't look good. Rico Dowdle with 5 carries for 25 rushing yards, being the leading rusher for this team, is unacceptable.
They suck at home. How do you suck at home? How do you suck in that super expensive arena? How? You control everything. How?
To be fair, when Arkansas plays there, they suck too. And maybe it's Jerry Jones. Lions are 4-1. Vikings are a 2-point home favorite here. I think this is the division. I think this is one of the best divisions in football. You said it. The winner of this game for you is the best team in the NFC. I don't have a problem with that. I think that the winner of this game wins this division.
Oh, yeah.
This could be a division that puts 3 teams in the playoff.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
I mean, this is the best division in football.
Agreed. Very much agreed.
So, Lions or Vikings?
I got the Lions.
Yeah, I have a really hard time picking the Vikings to win this game, seeing what I've seen from the Lions. I think the Vikings are a good football team. I'm a little concerned that the Vikings can't win in a dogfight. Right? I think they win the games they should win. I think they're going to end the game with a serviceable stat line and good numbers for all their key guys, but it just doesn't feel like the kind of game the Vikings win. And so if I have to pick this game, it is the Lions. I think the Lions will be the better team that day on the field. And that's all that matters in the NFL, right? Is win the game you're playing. I think the Lions are the better team.
Coming off this week, I mean, they're definitely going to be feeling it. So I got the Lions in this game.
Let's pause the hate on the Cowboys to talk about 2 of the other teams in the NFC East. Eagles and Giants. Eagles 3.5-point road favorites. Sean, are you worried at all about this Giants defense? Is this something they can continue to replicate? Can they shut down the Eagles?
Can they do it? Yes, they can do it. But I'm going to say that they can do it by the Eagles making bad play calls and making mistakes. When the Eagles play strong football, when they play mistake-free football, when they're not fumbling the ball, when they're not throwing picks, when they're not getting tips, they're a good football team. And when their offense controls the game, because one of the best thing about the Eagles and the way that they play is that they do good clock management. Typically, they are a team that maintains the ball for a good period of time down the field. It's solid clock management. If they can maintain that, if they can use Saquon the way that they need to, I mean, if anybody Saquon revenge game, you got to beat up on them in a divisional team as well. Like, you got to do it. So I mean, I take the Eagles in this game. I think that they should win this game by at least 7 to really say like, hey, we're the team to beat in the division, even though the Commanders are still obviously the strong team. I think they're still the strongest team in the division, but yeah,
I forgot the revenge game angle.
Yeah,
I think Saquon to score 2 touchdowns, the Eagles to win. That might be a nice little parlay.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, this is must watch. This is a must watch game.
100%.
This is also an early game. This is also a 10 a.m. game. This is a good slate.
It's a lot of early games.
Well, that's because there's 2 stupid Monday Night Football games again.
Why do they keep doing that?
Oh, that's the dumbest shit. It's
money,
and it's 5:15 and 6. It's not even money. Like most people don't have 2 TVs.
But because then they have to split less with the Sunday games. That's all it is. Is now you have another network playing in NFL, which means you draw in more viewership on a Monday than you would people splitting their Sundays. It's about money. They'll do it. They're gonna do a game on a Tuesday. They're gonna do a game on a
but it's all Disney. It's all Disney. It's ESPN, ABC.
And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the NFL. The NFL wants that money. NFL setting the schedule.
I just don't understand why you don't like stagger them out. Like the Bucks are in Florida, play that game at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock Florida time, and then play the Cardinals game at 7 o'clock local time. Fuck the East Coast. If you live on the East Coast, you don't even know what sports are. That's the worst time zone for sports in the entire world. There's kids in India who have a better NFL viewing experience than people in New York because it's the worst time zone for sports. What are you going to stay up late, watch Monday Night Football? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. You're going to be all crabby at work. You have to hear about it on Twitter. Out of here. Arizona, where it's at 5:15 p.m. Monday Night Football
for part of the season. Then it goes to 6:50. Don't forget about the switch.
Time change is so much worse living here because our clocks don't change, but everything I care about shifts an hour. It throws my life into disarray. It's horrific. In the Midwest, time change, and you're like, oh yeah, like you lose an hour of sleep, you're groggy for a little bit, but nothing else matters, right? It's God's time. All sports are on Central Time. Out here, it's like I have to change my entire Sunday when time changes because it throws everything off. Football starts at 11 instead of 10, and the night games are an hour later. It's like it throws everything into disarray. I had never, when I was traveling back and forth, I appreciated the difference in time, but living here has made sports so much more difficult because I can't even when I was putting Sunday Night Football games in my calendar, I had to put them in Eastern time so they'd scale appropriately because I have no idea. Like November 8th, what time is the game on? I have no clue.
Well, just think Halloween weekend is going to be your cutoff. So, and realistically, I'm actually going to go with the opposite here. I love the fact that our time switches and that we get the games 1 hour later because I like to go to brunch on Sunday. And guess what? You don't have to you don't have to be up at 10 a.m. You get to get up at 10:30, 11 o'clock, wander over to brunch after being out all Saturday, sit down, drink a mimosa, and watch some damn football. I got no problems with it. And what? Oh, your bedtime, the afternoon game goes from 6 o'clock to 9 p.m. What are you going to miss the news? Like, you'll be fine.
That's kind of late. That's kind of late for me.
Oh, behave. Well, this next game is a West Coast game anyway.
Yeah, I'll let you take care of this one. I have no notes on this. I won't be. Well, I mean, there's only 3 afternoon games, so it'll be on. But I am not watching Raiders Rams.
Yeah, it's not a game that no one's expecting any highlights from. I would love to see the Raiders get a win here. Maybe just show some pride. But I mean, I'm just not seeing anything from them. They can't stop anything. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. They're inconsistent on offense. I don't know what the hell is going on. And then there's trade stuff going on. Oh my god, it's chaos. And
Devontae's gone, man. I mean, he's been gone. He's had one foot out the door since he got there.
that is not true. All right, when him and Carr were there, they were clicking. All right, at a career season. When him and Carr were there, we were clicking. Telling you right now. All I'm saying is if they can hold him there, if they can find a way to hold him there, I'm seeing the mock drafts. Cam Ward looks like he's going to be available. I would like to see a little more star. I want to see a little more. I want to see a little more. I want to see the opportunity. All right. I wanted Michael Penix this year. If I don't get him, I'll take the young man out of Miami, and we'll see what we can do back there. Maybe that's the spark that he needs.
I am still just enough of a Saints fan where I don't want any part of Devontae Adams on the Saints. They don't need him. He's like an old Rashid Shaheed.
Oh my God, that is.
I'm good.
Oh my, the blasphemy. The blasphemy.
Rams -5.5. I might tease that. I might tease that up to 11.5. Rams are gonna win this game going away.
Jeez, so rude. All right. I'm taking the Raiders in this one. Let's do it. It's a shot. You got the Rams. I got the Raiders.
Let's do it. I'll type it. I'll put it in the chat in a second. The Panthers and the Commanders. This is a 7.5 point spread for the Commanders. I'm not sure it's enough. The one thing I wanted to call out is that with Robinson hurt, this team had no rushing offense to speak of. It should be next man up. They have Austin Eckler. Austin Eckler, not that guy.
No, but they're very different style runners.
They need to figure out the run game.
They're those two are very different style runners, though. Eckler runs much more heavy. He runs much more heavy.
But if you don't have a running back, you're gonna end up in trouble. It won't be against the Panthers. But you can't win the East without a running back. So, like,
you are not wrong.
I get the guy was hurt. I understand that, but like it has to be next man up. And if Eckler can't carry that load anymore, you have to find the player on your roster who can, because you aren't going to win many games with zero rushing offense. It's not going to happen. I mean,
you're not wrong.
They lose a close game against the Ravens, and the Ravens are a good team, despite my opinion of, the would-be MVP. The Ravens are a good football team. They got Derrick Henry. They run downhill. Jaden Daniels was the leading rusher for this Washington team. Oh, Jesus. The Jets just doinked.
That's a shot.
Jaden,
did they miss?
Did
they miss?
Yeah, doink in or doink out. Jaden Daniels was the leading rusher on this Commanders team with 22 rushing yards. That's not enough. Obviously, you lose a close game against the Ravens. You can point to all kinds of things with that. But if Jaden Daniels is your leading rusher against the Panthers, that's a game that is closer than you want it to be. So I think they win, but I want them to find it. You
are right, but here's why I don't see that being a problem. And I mean, losing Brian Robinson, it changes your game plan. And against a Ravens team who we both admit is a good team, Jaden Daniels has been throwing the 2 shots. Yeah. I'll have to take him in a second.
That's fine. Not a sponsor. I'm turning around the other way. Not a sponsor.
Yeah. So I mean, you kind of rely on your guy who's throwing in the high 70s, low 80% completion percentage, right? You rely on him at that point. So I think that losing Robinson just changed the dynamic of that game. I think this week is going to be an adjustment week. It allows them now to have it allows them to make some play calls and try to figure out who that next man up is. McNichols? No. I don't know who else they have on the depth chart. I really don't, because it's not there. So, I mean, you start adjusting your game plan now. You start running some sweeps and some more, ooh, okay. Yeah, we start running some jet sweeps and you start running some end arounds, and you kind of just throw off the game, but you still get some play from the backfield-ish area. So you kind of get that same depth of game of play. But yeah, they're gonna have to make the adjustment after this week.
Well, and if Robinson's there, they're fine.
Yeah.
But like that's what I'm looking at, right? Like I kind of said on the top of the show, like we're getting to a place where the team that you are showing every week on the field is your playoff prospects. Like we're not going to get to week 10 and all of a sudden you turn everything around, right? There's always like one team like that every year, but you can't assume you're that team, right? So if Robinson is hurt, there has to be a solution. Otherwise, when you're playing playoff teams, you're going to lose 23-30 like they did against the Ravens.
Well, you have to make the adjustment as far as what your team has in the positions you changed. You have to make that change, but you don't know where the injuries are going to come in. And the only benefit of having that injury earlier in the season here is that if it's something that's long term, then you make that adjustment. You have a longer time to get those adjustments made. I think that with Jay and Daniels, you can start running some more read options. I think that you have a little more opportunities to get some other play styles in, but not every team is going to have, a Mason, a guy who just steps in and does the same thing that your previous number one overall, fantasy pick guy does, like top carrier, top yards guy. Not everybody's going to do that. Not everybody's going to be a Puka Nacua where, your top guy goes out and suddenly you get another guy who also ends up with 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 yards receiving. That's not a common thing. We know that's not the case. Otherwise, backups wouldn't be backups. But sometimes the organization just has that luck in them. And more importantly, if it does happen, it's more of a testament to the system and to what's going on overall than it is to just that individual player. So I think that if their run game still struggles, it's more of a testament to how good Brian Robinson actually is at that position than to how not so good someone, how different Eckler is, or how whatever the case is. At the end of the day, like a team can run it back by committee. That's what the NFL have been moving to in the past couple of years. They tried to get rid of the whole idea of a feature back and basically said running backs weren't worth any money. So to see guys now have that impact on the game, it's like, well, a team that goes from, Baltimore, every game that Baltimore loses is because they don't lean on Derrick Henry. And every time the Eagles lose is because they don't lean on Saquon Barkley. So you see these things and you see these calls. You're like, why did he wait till the third quarter? Or why did he wait till the third drive of the first half to give the ball to the running back? Why did he wait? Why did running back only have three to five touches in the first quarter? Like we see those things. We always look at that. How many times this year have we had plays in the within the 5-yard line that were fumbles, or like a interception? Like that small yardage situation is really, really going to be important as well. So, I mean, they're going to have to figure out their run game, and this is a good game for them to do it.
Really quick aside, speaking of classic football and trusting your guys, Army and Navy are ranked at the same time for the first time since 1960. And I will say in the same breath that Derrick Henry had 24 carries for 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. I know the NFL wants to kill the feature back, but hey, running is alive and well. And we'll get to the Ravens in a minute here, but I wanted to ask you this, Sean. Plug and play running backs are a real thing in the NFL. If you are the running back for the San Francisco 49ers and you're playing the Panthers, how many rushing yards do you think you get?
If I'm in 49ers playing against the Panthers, I'm putting up at least 60 yards, 60, 70 yards rushing.
Like I feel like yeah, like you're gonna have 3 yards of carry just blocked out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm running behind Juice all day. Get that man in front of me. And let him pick somebody. Him and Kittle. Just have Kittle pull out, have Trent Williams stretch, and then have Juice come in on the backside. I got a big ass hole. No Diddy.
Speaking of Diddy, Patrick Mahomes and his Chiefs are
you behave.
Pick 'em +1-ish The Niners are very slight favorites at home. I think this is the game of the week if you are a 65-year-old NFL fan. This is the one. This is going to be the Fox NFL Sunday game. This is going to be the feature game. This game is going to suck. This game is going to be 17-14. It's going to be boring. It's two teams no one cares about. One of them might win the Super Bowl. Whatever. The 49ers.
I thought you. Are you talking about the Sunday night football game? Are you talking about the Sunday night football game? Sure.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started on Jets Steelers. We'll get to that.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you right now. If this game is a 17-14 game, it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a good game because realistically, they're two of the best coach teams in the NFL in the past, easily the past decade. And you're going to see them make the adjustments that need to be made. What the most telling thing for me in this game is going to be, I mean, it really going to depend on how well Kansas City can execute the run and how well San Francisco and Kansas City's defensive lines hold up against these quarterbacks. Because if you can collapse the pocket, if you can keep these guys, uncomfortable, if you can make them make mistakes, then that's how you're going to win the game. It really is going to come down to, the linebacker play is going to come down to that D line is going to come down to some timely blitzes in places. And it's going to come down to field position because both of these teams are phenomenal when it comes to field position. You'll see a lot of drives that they take where they hold teams and then they end up at the ball at the 40-yard line and they're not going, 80 yards. They're going 60 only, or they only got to go 25, 30 to get to that field goal. So I think it's really going to come down to who really controls the field position and who really controls the line.
Can I ask you a weird question?
Shoot.
The Chiefs are 5-0. The Niners are 3-3.
Mm-hmm.
Who needs this game more?
Niners.
You think so?
Hands down. Yeah. Who else is so the Chiefs at 5-0? Who's second in the AFC?
In the AFC or in the division?
AFC. Just go AFC. The division I'm not worried about. They're not worried about their own division. Who's second
Ravens
in the AFC?
The Steelers are 4-2.
Right?
Texans are 5-1.
Right, but just think about as far as team, like overall team caliber. I mean, we look at the Ravens and they can put up 35, 40 points a game. They can also put up a goose egg. They can play really, really inconsistently. And you see that mostly when you see their running game, right? You got who else? You got Steelers. I'm not confident that team is going to be a playoff caliber team. I think that they could be the team that places really well in the division. I think they could even win the division, but I don't see that team is going to do anything really.
So I feel like the Chiefs are inevitable. I feel like the Chiefs are the team to beat until someone beats them.
Even if they lost this game, tell you right now, it doesn't mean anything.
But we right, pundits, we are not media people because I refuse to think of ourselves like that. But we holistically think that the Chiefs are a really good team. The Chiefs haven't beaten anybody. The Chiefs have looked pedestrian all year. They've done enough to win. And that's all that matters at the end of the day, right? And then the pedigree speaks for itself. If they lose this game to the 49ers, a 49ers team without their best player, I think there's some concern for the Chiefs. It's not concern that they'll miss the playoffs. It's not concern they won't win their division. I think the concern for me would be, is this version of the Chiefs team good enough to win a Super Bowl? Right? Because that's the expectation, right? The Chiefs could have an undefeated season, win the division. No one cares. No one cares. The Dolphins care. That shitty Dolphins undefeated team, they care. But like this Chiefs team needs to win the Super Bowl. No excuses. Like that's it. Like an AFC championship for this Chiefs team is a failure. So for me, what I want to see from the Chiefs in this 49ers game, I'm seeing whoop that ass. Because this is a 49ers team that does not have their best player. This is a 49ers team that has played poorly on both sides of the ball for long stretches of games. So for me, what I want to see is the Chiefs run away with this game because that's the narrative, right? This inevitable Chiefs team, this undefeated Chiefs team beats a bad 49ers team.
So I have to disagree with that. And the reason why I have to disagree with that is because you keep forgetting the revenge game angle, baby. All right. We're talking about a battered San Francisco team who is not expected to win this game. And they're going to be hungry. They're going to be. I don't give a fuck if they're the favorite or not. We all know that without Christian McCaffrey back there, that they are not the same team. We know that. And we know that they haven't been consistent in the season. At 3-3, we know that. So for you to say that they're the favorite don't mean shit to me. The thing that I'm seeing here is that Kansas City's coming off a bye. They're 5-0. Even though they don't look like the powerhouse of Kansas City that we've seen before. 5-0 ain't nothing to sneeze at. And we're talking about them being the team that, they're the team to beat. They're the team to beat. They're the team to beat a year every week. Well, so you got to lose at some point. And if you lose to a team that's right now just hoping to get their footing back, that really wants to be like, you know what? No, we still got it. We still got it. We don't need this guy. We can get it together. And we can actually beat this team that has, really made us look bad. Then I think this is the week to do it for them. So I see Kansas City with a little bit of a grudge, but with San Francisco with a little bit of a grudge here, and I see them actually coming out and playing well in this game. But what's going to happen is it doesn't mean anything to the Chiefs, because when they look the rest of their schedule and they look at the fact that they don't have to, they get to play the Raiders, the Chargers, and the Broncos, and that's the rest, and that's what the division looks like. They're not challenged in their own division. And then they start looking around the rest of the AFC, and they're not seeing those same challenges. And yeah, maybe they're not blowing people out. They're not winning games by 20 points, but they're winning them by 5, or they're winning them by 3, winning them by 2. At the end of the day, a W is a W.
True. But Patrick Mahomes only scored one more point against the Chargers than Bo Nix did. I think there's reason to be concerned if you are a Chiefs fan.
I just see the Chiefs as a team who has looked so dominant in years that they're slightly better, that them being good or even great just means that they're not living up to their potential, right? You look at a team beat people up. You look at a team who's going for a three-peat. You look at an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, a guy who's literally throwing the ball off his, look at this, and you say, oh, this team is, they got to do it. They got to do it. They got to do it. You look at Travis Kelce. You look at the fact that their offense can still churn out these receivers every year that are getting these 1,000-yard seasons. You look at, they just throw in a guy like Xavier Worthy, and suddenly Tyreek Hill, who like never needed him, irrelevant, never even heard of him before, and you see that and you go, well, then they're just going to win again. They're just going to win again. And you got to remember that these other men are getting paid to play some football too. They got some pride, and they're going to want to actually go in there and punch him in the face. I bet you Fred Warner's going to be pissed as hell at this game. He's going to want to have 20 tackles.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at a Steelers I'm looking at a San Francisco defense that's going to be blitz heavy probably. I'm looking at them really trying to make Mahomes, get him uncomfortable. And since they don't have Pacheco back there, their rush offense is not nearly as potent. And I think that that's really going to affect how San Francisco plays them. And I think that that's going to play a key factor. But I don't think that this game means nearly as much to the Chiefs as it does to San Francisco. I think San Francisco needs this. I think they still are trying to say that they're one of the best teams in the NFC. And this is what they're going to need to prove that.
Yeah, they definitely need the win. I guess my point was just Mahomes and the Chiefs are not playing the 49ers. They're playing history.
Yeah,
he's a first ballot. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. This is one of the best NFL teams of all time. Tom Brady doesn't lose this game. I think that's the game he's playing. He's not playing the 49ers. He's playing legacy.
I mean, sir, I've watched Tom Brady lose regular season games against teams with no wins. So at any given, and we're talking about, well, not just that, the Dolphins too. They had like a 1-15. They lost to 1-15 Dolphins. They lost to like they lost to the Jets.
You always say, what is it you always say to our viewers? Division games.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Not a division game. The 49ers.
That's true. But the rivalry between San Francisco and Kansas City has been building up over the past few years. And in championships, didn't they? This happened twice.
Doesn't matter.
I think it does. I think it does. I think if you punch me in the face one time, that's bad. If you do and you knock me out, I think if you do it twice, guess what? We still that matters. That counts
I
towards my
guess.
legacy, man.
I view it more like in the Big Ten, like Michigan State's biggest opponent is Michigan. And Michigan doesn't even think about them. That's the Chiefs and the Niners. This is a Super Bowl game for the Niners, and for Mahomes, it's like he's literally playing ghosts.
I mean, you're not wrong. And again,
matter.
and the difference in their schedule, or sorry, and the difference in their record kind of reflects that. But I think again, coming off the bye week, I mean, Kansas City looks fresh.
They doinked again.
Oh my god. Doink out again. So that's 2 more shots.
I hate kickers. Kickers shouldn't be in football. It's a travesty. It's an affront to God. It's horrific. Punters, I love punters. Punters are great. No problem with punters. Place kickers, you have one job. One job. Kick the damn ball. If Cole Kmet can step in as a long snapper, what that tells me is that the long snapper is irrelevant. Cole Kmet's
not true at all. Whoa.
Cole Kmet's not even a good tight end, let alone
whoa. The fact that Cole Kmet can long snap means that he did that before. It's not like he just showed up one day and long snapped.
But he practices it once a week.
Yeah, he practices it currently once a week for years.
Have a long snapper.
Hey, I'm a Raiders fan, and John Conda was a phenomenal long snapper. Ugh. Yeah, have some respect.
Your best players for like 5 years straight were your punter, your place kicker, and your long snapper.
Hey, that's why I have an appreciation for special teams. You know, you got what you got. Sometimes your team just has a guy who kicks balls, and that's all you got.
Apparently, it's windy in New Jersey.
Ooh.
I hate
the elements, man. The elements. Well,
speaking of games where a kicker will definitely decide the outcome. Jets Steelers, Sunday Night Football. Sean, if I told you there was 19 points scored in this game, what is the final score?
The problem is that it's either way. It's gonna the 12-7 is the score, but it's either way. 12-7 to score either way.
But why is it 12-7 with a field goal and 2 safeties?
Well, I mean, both of these teams actually should have pretty solid defensive lines. But I'm calling a touchdown off of a blocked field goal and 4 made field goals. 4 for 5 for field goals for the Steelers, and a touchdown off a blocked field goal from the Jets. That's it.
I can't even tell you you're wrong, because I think the only thing I'd change is there's like a punt return touchdown. Like this is going to be one of those ugly, like classic, like early 90s AFC matchups. We have talked the Steelers to death. So do you have anything Jets specific that you want to touch on before we go to the Monday night games?
The Jets have too many offensive weapons to not be doing anything with their offensive weapons. Breece Hall's biggest probably the second biggest fantasy disappointment right now. I mean, obviously CMC is number 1, but that's only because he's injured. Breece Hall was number 2. He was probably a top 5 guy that people had, and he has been doing nothing.
Very quickly, Breece Hall tonight, right now, 17 carries for 111 yards, 4 catches for 54.
I guess he heard me.
Well, maybe firing that bald idiot has allowed them to move on from whatever Robert Saleh thinks offense is and maybe just hand the ball to your best player. Weird.
He got a lot of slack for not being productive. So, yeah, they better have figured it out. Looks like they figured it out. If they beat the Bills in this game, it just solidifies to me how inconsistent the Bills will be and how they will never be a Super Bowl team. The Bills are just a strong Chargers. The Bills are just a strong Chargers.
But since the 80s.
Huh?
I mean, what, they went to 4 Super Bowls in a row?
Jim Kelly, four shots, 4 misses.
The reemergence of Alan Lazard is magic mushroom in a dark cave all summer. Kind of weird. That is, Alan Lazard wasn't good in college. Alan Lazard wasn't good with the Packers. Alan Lazard wasn't good with the Jets. And Aaron Rodgers has kind of like decided that Alan Lazard is going to be good. And damn it, he is. He's had like 300 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns the last 3 weeks. Like, if Aaron Rodgers is going to force feed this guy the ball, he's going to put up numbers.
But they need to win.
Respect Garrett Wilson on the other side. So if Aaron Rodgers is going to make a guy all pro, and you still have to double team the actual number 1 wide receiver, you're going to give up 150 yards rushing to Breece Hall. And
I think we're going to see. Go ahead, I'm listening.
The division's not good enough to survive that.
It's
like
not.
This crappy Jets team could win the division.
That's true. I just need to see more consistency out of them. I mean, yeah, a couple of weeks, they still haven't done it, and they still haven't done anything to me that would signal that they're the team that's going to win a division. Every week I look at the Jets and I go, all right, is Rodgers going to throw for 300 yards, or is he going to throw 2 picks? Like, that's what's going to happen. Is Breece Hall going to run for 40 yards, or is he going to, put up 170 total yards from scrimmage? Like, which one are we going to get? And so, really, that inconsistency there is what gets me. And the defense was good. The defense was honestly good. They didn't give a lot of runs, but if your offense is on the field, they're just tired. You get worn down.
Yeah, it's just crazy to me that like Drake May figuring it out, or Tua coming back and his brain not leaking from his ears. Either one of those scenarios, those teams win the division. Like, this division is not.
Well, before we say that, Drake May figuring it out is a lot more moving parts. And
it's unlikely, right? But like, my point is that like if Drake May comes,
he's not. It's not like he's got weapons. It's not like he's got weapons out there that he's just like not that like they just need to figure out how to get the ball to. No. Drake May coming alive would be historic. All right, it would be historic if suddenly they go from being the punching bag of the division, pretty much one of the worst teams in the NFL in the past, easily one of the worst teams in the NFL in the past 5 years, with the punching bag of the division to leading division, all because Drake May stepped in after 6 games. Like I would love to see that happen, but that would be a Cinderella story for the ages. But what I will say is
the Patriots have scored 23 more points than the Dolphins.
The Dolphins are terrible.
Yeah.
Patriots are terrible, but the Dolphins are also terrible. And the difference is that at least Jacoby Brissett has been a starting quarterback in the NFL multiple times. I don't know why people gave him the job, but he was. So he should be able to score a few more points than fucking Skylar Thompson.
The 2 worst scoring offenses in football are in the AFC East.
Yeah.
And the Jets are not far behind. Which is
3 for 4. Well, the next game we got on the slot is actually going to have a lot more offense, in my opinion.
Ravens Bucks. Ravens are 3.5-point road favorites. Give me Baker. Feed me the Baker.
I'm going to go with Lamar here.
I think the Ravens win this game by 10.
I'm going to go with Lamar here. And you know why? I think they're starting to figure out what to do with the running back game. I think they're starting to figure it out.
You mean hand the ball off to the biggest running back in NFL history?
I think they're starting to figure it out. No, the biggest problem that I have for them is their defense also plays inconsistently. Like, and they make too many mistakes. So their biggest thing is that they need to play consistently. They stop making so many mistakes. I think that the Bucks have figured out what to do with their run game. Bucky Irving doing a damn thing. So
Well,
I mean,
and they knew, right? I mean, there's a reason that Bucky was, listed as a co-starter in preseason and has
mhm.
seen touches as the backup. I mean, he's a good running back, runs hard, and Baker Mayfield creates space. He's gotten a lot of shit through his career for some of the decision making. Mostly, the talent's always been there, but when he slows down, he has time to just like make his reads. The dude doesn't miss. This is a Bucks
Okay.
team that can score points in buckets.
I just want to shout out, even though he left us, Lincoln Riley. You know, that man is a wizard when it comes to coaching quarterbacks. And we've seen some good NFL quarterbacks. But I think he's with like 4 or 5 right now. How many Heisman winners? Like it's you know Baker Mayfield is a lot more talented than people give him credit for. I'm really glad to see that his resurgence with this Bucks team is proving that he was way more talented as a quarterback, and that he deserved to have this chance. So, I mean, I like Baker and I like the Bucks, but I think the Ravens take this one.
My biggest concern is the points the Ravens have given up. This is a Bucks team that just scored 51 points against the Saints, and
Hmm.
it's the Saints, right? I mean, they're going to give up points, but
It's also a divisional
the
game. Don't forget.
it's true. It's true. I don't. I would be concerned if I was the Ravens. How many points do you have to score to win this game? And if the answer is 30, they might not get there. They might not get to that. So
I don't know. I
that's the
mean,
thing I'm keying on. I mean, they gave up 27 to the Chiefs, 26 to the Raiders, 25 to the Cowboys, held the Bills to 10,
mhm.
38 to the Bengals, 23 to the Commanders. The Bucks might be the best offense on that list.
I will say this. I'm looking at this Bucks Ravens game similar to that Falcons, like as far as their ability to put up points. They give up 36 to the Falcons. Again, divisional game, but they also give up 26 to the Broncos. So, their defense has played well at points. I mean, 20 to 16 against the Lions early on. That was a really good win for them, and starting off against the Commanders. But if you think about it, the Commanders and Lions really stepped it up and got better so far. And I'm seeing the Ravens doing the same thing. I'm seeing them get better as a team. And so you are right. They need to play better and more consistently on defense. If the Ravens hold the Bucks to less than 30 points, they win the game, in my opinion. If the Ravens hold the Bucks to less than 30, they win. Even if the score is 29-30.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a lot of scoring. I think
Yep.
this is an important one too. The NFC South is not going to give you your Super Bowl champion, but they can sure screw things up for a whole lot of other teams. And
That's
what I'd be
true.
scared about if I was the Ravens.
That's fair. That's fair.
Our second Monday Night Football game. How about bolts and cards? Huh? A little bit of West Coast action. Chargers have been not super great, but dealing with injuries. They're 3-2. The Cardinals have looked pretty good. I think they're way better than their 2-4 record. We're running out of clock. We're running out of time here for Black Ops 6. How much more Kyler Murray do we have? I think this is one the Cards can win. Chargers 3-point road favorite.
I agree with that. I think that the playing at home, I think the Cardinals have the advantage, and I think right now with the injuries to on the defensive side, especially to the Chargers.
Uh-oh. I know what that means. I think that means that Sean did not charge his laptop again. He was going to take the Chargers. You could hear it kind of the way he was talking. I have the Cardinals in this game. I actually really like the way that Kyler Murray is handling things on the offensive side of the ball. He's really making his reads. It feels like more of a pocket presence. It's kind of the same way Caleb Williams has kind of slowed down a little bit, and you can see him going through the progressions. The thing that Kyler Murray has is he has that final progression where he can just run the ball. So for me, I think that's the big piece there. Chargers Cardinals, important game. We joke about the Call of Duty thing, but Kyler Murray seems to have this decline as the year goes on. But give me the Chargers. I can't even lay like one. It's the Cardinals. I think I got the Cardinals money line. I'll have the Cardinals to win this one. Thank you for joining us on Yelling and Screaming. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Thanks for hanging with us. Go and catch the end of the game. 23-20 Bills. About 3 minutes left. If you are a subscriber to the channel, there's going to be a new 602 Row show out either later tonight or early tomorrow. Golden Bachelorette is on Wednesday. We have a wine club starting. 602's very own wine club. More information to come soon. But until then, thanks for being with us. He is at KS Flash. I am at King of Lake, wherever you can find us. Thank you for yelling and screaming with us. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks, guys.